I remember one day me and my buddy were hanging out, and when I went outside and got into his car, we didn't start driving. The dude just like turned to me and started explaining this thing that he had in his hand, and I had no clue what it was. He's sitting there explaining like how healthy it was and just like how safer of an alternative it was. And he was like, "Man, I want you to feel the same way." And the only two things he said to me, he stopped and turned towards me, and he asked me if I had the money and if I was ready to quit smoking. And that was the day I quit smoking. I've been vaping for 4 years now. But before I was vaping, I was smoking. I mean, I was an avid smoker, a really avid smoker. And I started smoking when I was 16, just because I was just a teenager in his angst, hanging out with the wrong type of crowd, basically. And it took a toll on me. I mean, I went through some hard times, honestly. I stopped playing my favorite sport because of it. But it wasn't until the day my aunt died. I gotta change something. Something has really got to give, because that was hard. That was really hard. And my aunt was, I mean, she was an avid smoker as well. She used to smoke 2 packs a day, and I used to sit there and watch her. I used to sit there and watch her smoke cigarette after cigarette. So that was really tough. And I remember the day it happened. I wasn't even home, but I got the call, and it was my dad, and he was there at 4:30 in the morning, which struck me weird. And automatically when that happened, I knew something was wrong. But my friend's mom comes in the room, and she was like, "Your dad's at the front door." And I was like really confused. So I got up and went up outside and saw my dad, and he didn't say anything. He was just like, "Go get your stuff and let's go." So I went inside and got my stuff, and we left. And before we could even make it out of my friend's gate, we stopped, and he was like, "Your Aunt Franny died." And my world kind of just toppled over me. Because me and my aunt were very close. But I remember the agony that my mom was going through when I got to my house, and she was just outside. She wasn't speaking to anyone. She really wasn't speaking to anyone. And that was really hard for me to see my mom go through that. But I think that was what really made me want to stop, because she died of respiratory failure, because she was smoking all the time and she was sick. And the day my mom was supposed to take her to the hospital, the night before she died, that was when she passed away. But after that, after I healed a little bit, that initial event in my life was what made me want to take that step forward and quit smoking for good. For good. So there was 4 years ago, not thinking I was going to be able to kick such a terrible habit. I had absolutely no faith. I thought I was just going to smoke forever. But then compared to now, it's been such a big change. I mean, it's just not the same. I feel better completely. I smell a lot better. I mean, there's just so many things. The list goes on, honestly. And not only that, it's just the community as well. Everyone has their backstories, and they all came from something probably similar, but everyone's so supportive of each other because of that backstory. So, I mean, aside from everything else, everything has been so beneficial towards me. so beneficial, and I have no regrets, and that's why I vape.